Good evening, folks. I'd like to welcome you back after a bit of a hiatus to yet another late night live stream with me, Deha. I apologize for being here a little bit later than intended. My last stream was supposed to happen on Sunday, but my flight back decided to get delayed by like an hour. And mind you, this flight was already in the evening, and my PC had to get troubleshooted. Yeah, I had to replace the CMOS to see if that fixed anything, because my PC had like symptoms of CMOS battery dying. But turns out that wasn't the problem. Turns out it was a RAM issue, and well, it's a motherboard issue. My RAM slots are dead, which sucks. Not all of them, but I can't do dual channel memory anymore. Anyway. Basically, I need to build a new PC. I was able to get my PC functioning, clearly, as you can see. But, yeah. Performance is a bit worse than it's supposed to be. Anyway, I'm sure y'all don't care about that. You do care about this, though. Hey, Money, it's good to see ya. Good to see old faces, old familiar faces. You're not an old face. I'm sure you're very young. I should just click load. No, not load. Continue. Yes. How's it going? It's going pretty good. I mean, if you asked me that a few days ago, I would have been like stressed out as hell because I was like testing everything, trying to diagnose what's wrong with my PC. But I mean, now that I figured it out, it's I'm doing good, you know, just chilling. Currently on my break right now from dental school. It'll be over soon though. No rest for the studious. Anyway, we got Mr. Eggert Benedict, aka Graydon. I'll still call you Eggman. There's a note on the disc saying for me gilded, but the item belongs to me. Okay, let's get a little context here first, because it's been a while. Yes. Cross-examination. Right. So, the disc. He's just trying to come up with a lie as to why he wanted the disc. Does it belong to you? The redemption ticket was stolen from me by the accused, that filthy guttling, on the day in question. I proceeded at once to the shop in order to explain my situation and redeem my article. At the end, of course, the disc was taken by the police. In other words, I had absolutely no reason to break into the shop later that same night. Gilded slipped the disc into his coat pocket and had it deposited at Windibanks. Then, when he realized he was going to be arrested on suspicion of the omnibus murder, he threatened Gina and forced her to take the redemption ticket. Uh-huh.
There's no doubt about it. That witness is lying through his pearly white teeth.
The police were obviously after anything left behind by Gilded as well. That dude Has pearly white teeth? I didn't even see. I doubt it though. This is Britain in like the 20s. That's why Inspector Gregson ended up taking the disc into custody that day.
Gregsy's being very strange about all this.
There must be a reason for that, I'm sure. I just don't know what it is. For now, I need to focus on exposing the fact that Mr. Grayton is lying in his testimony. Alright, seems simple enough. Okay. Wonder how you can justify that one. Would you care to explain how this belongs to you? As you will observe, a communications officer such as myself commands a fine salary. You're certainly exquisitely dressed, sir. So you see, I have little need to make use of the services provided by the pawnbrokery trade. However, I did once find myself in difficulties having misplaced my purse whilst on errand, which is why I pawned my fine black overcoat to the broker in question. We already proved that coat wasn't yours because he ripped when you tried to force it on. Where's Sholmes when you need him? I want his testimony. You claimed that was your overcoat. Obviously. And in my haste, I clean forgot that the music box disc was in its pocket. And yet, there is a note on it that reads for McGilded. I'm a collector of rare and unusual music box music. I first met Mr. McGilded at a gentleman's club in the city, and was interested to discover that he shared my penchant in that area. So the disc in question. It's a pre-production sample. I promised to let Mr. McGilded hear it. Then you forgot that it was in the pocket of the overcoat you were forced to pawn. Yes, exactly. Oh, so he's claiming that he wrote the note.
Gina didn't mention any of that in her testimony 2 months ago, did she?
No, because McGilded had threatened her to keep her mouth shut. Right, that was the whole, like, foreboding little cutscene that we watched. Which means that if we dig too deeply here, it's gonna expose Gina's perjury.
Oh dear, this is complicated, isn't it?
Well, it is what it is. We gotta find the truth, right?
Hold it!
So you're saying that Miss Lestrade lifted the ticket from your pocket or bag? That's right, despite being mindful of danger when walking in the insalubrious areas as her kind frequents.
Objection!
Insalubrious? First time I ever heard that word. Miss Lestrade did no such thing. Well, of course you would take that stance. The girl's a regular offender. You came to the pawnbrokery that day and prepared with all the information you needed to identify the defendant. You were looking for her. That's what brought you to Windibanks. To get your hands on Mr. McGilded's disc.
Objection!
My learned friend is a veritable font of nonsense. Nonsense? I concur with the prosecution. Damn. I'll tell you'll refrain from conjecturing in this way. Is that clear? Oh, but the prosecution can conjecture all he wants, sure. Yes, my lord. Then I will continue with my testimony for what possible use it can be. Proceeded at once to the shop in order to explain my situation and redeem my article.
Hold it!
Had you ever been to Windibanks before? Only once for the purposes of pawning something, but like many, I enjoy browsing in such establishments. So when you noticed the pickpocket had taken your ticket, you chased after her, is that correct? Yes, that's right. I didn't notice at first, of course, such is the art of the pick purse. But when I did, I headed to the pawnbrokery at once, in order to reclaim my coat before the thief could. I was merely trying to recover what was rightfully mine in the first place. Ugh, you can see what he likes, because he knows we have no evidence to contradict him on this. This was taken by the police, that's true. Yes, it was taken by Inspector Gregson here, wasn't it? That's right. This was the very man. Apparently the police are collecting anything that has a connection to Mr. McGilded as evidence. Is that right? What do you have to say, sir? Pursue.
Excuse me.
Excuse me. Achoo. Something wrong, Inspector? What do you mean? The last remark Mr. Graydon made in his testimony seemed to trouble you in some way. No, it didn't. There's nothing. Leave it alone. Let me ask you this, Inspector. Why is Scotland Yard gathering Mr. McGilded's possessions? I can't tell you something like that, Sunshine. What is it, Inspector? Investigative secrets? Yes, exactly. Should know all about that. Magnus McGilded, who died so unexpectedly after his trial 2 months ago, a man renowned throughout the capital for his great contributions to public life. Yet he had a dark side too. Where are you going with this, Anzieks? I suppose the police are dealing with the aftermath of this nefarious activities, are they? That's enough. Couples like me have duties to carry out that we're not at liberty to talk about. That's all you need to know. Duties conferred by Lord Strongheart, I presume. The true villain. The Lord Chief Justice appears to have great faith in you, Inspector. Oh, is he trying to, like, manipulate him to coughing it up? I feel like he won't give up that easily. Gregson seems like a pretty loyal guy. The bottom line is, if you want to get more out of me, you're gonna need Lord Strongheart's paw print first. What if we use Iris? He seems to be loyal to Iris plenty. What's all this about? It's like there's something going on between Gregson and Lord Van Zieks here. Ooh, some drama? Well, it would appear the inspector has revealed all that he is at liberty to reveal. Mr. Graydon, let us return to your testimony. Gladly, my lord. In other words, absolutely no reason to break into the shop later that same night.
Hold it!
Really now. You were looking for something. Perhaps you'd seen something of value among the forfeited items. No, not at all. Oh. A valuer has brought in by the police to assess everything in the shop. Without exception, every article on the shelves is common or garden bric-a-brac. What? Bric-a-brac? So many new words today. In that case, it's clear. You broke into the shop later that day in order to recover Mr. McGilded's disc. What? No, that's bullshit. It was collected by the police. Why would it be there? Even if I had wanted to recover the disc, you may recall that it had been seized by the police that afternoon. Come on, Ryunosuke, I wouldn't have said that. It was no more in the shop that night than I. As I keep saying, I simply had no reason to break in. So there was nothing of McGilded's left in the shop that night. Nothing this man might have been after. I wonder if that's really true. Didn't Gina say something about McGilded having one more thing in there? Alright. Well, look at our evidence. In retrospect, it's probably better to look at the evidence before I go through the cross-examination, but hey. No harm done, I suppose. These two are not that helpful. Autopsy, no. Paper. What does this say? Sensational story. Ministry mole. Classified secrets may have been leaked overseas from the Ministry of Justice. Communications are being intercepted. That has to do with this case, right? I mean, the guy's a communications officer. I wonder, perhaps this is what Strongheart was talking about yesterday. Maybe. Under the Baskervilles. I don't think he was looking for that. This... Ashley Graydon. Let's see. One gentleman's overcoat. And this one is one small box. Whose note did we get this from? Whose was this? We have two notes here. Owned by the victim, Mr. Windibank. The blood on it has been identified as Mr. Mason's. Maybe the evidence is this. I mean, pressing didn't really get anywhere. Maybe we can try not pursuing Gregson after that statement. Just, oops. Man, I hate when I do that. Okay, the fourth one, right?
Hold it! Is that right?
It's evidence. That's what the inspector said, at least, as he sees my disc. Thanks to the skirmish with that wastrel, I snagged the end of my thumb at the same time. The disc in question is this disc here. Yes, it is. Scotland Yard have indeed been gathering items believed to have been the property of McGilded, presumably to aid their investigations in some way. Not something I would be aware of. I didn't really know the man well, anyway. After all, I'm merely a communications officer with a penchant for music boxes, a penchant for doing silly white boy moves, I guess. Flamboyant poses. You will never be a JoJo. You will never be him. Alright, well, we can try presenting this for the box.
Objection!
You were looking for the box. This disc was deposited at Windibank's on Magnus McGilded's instructions. You know, I'm just gonna nonchalantly, accept that I got it right first try. I'm just that guy. You knew that, and you went there with the intention of obtaining it for yourself.
Objection!
Conjecture again. In any case, the disc was taken into custody by the police that afternoon. The witness had no reason to visit the pawnbrokery again that night.
Objection!
Sorry, my learned friend. But that's not true. Ooh, I used the learned friend on him. What? Mr. McGilded had another article in Pawn at Windibanks, as this second pawnbroker's ticket proves. Ugh. There were 2 articles belonging to Mr. McGilded in Windibanks Pawnbrokery, and the reason you broke into the shop that night was to recover the second one. Together with your 2 accomplices, the Skulkin brothers. Ugh. This is the second ticket, is it? What had the man deposited? The article description reads, 1 small box. A rather vague description, it seems to me. Are you suggesting that I broke into the pawnbrokery with these clowns in order to steal some trinket box? I believe there are adequate grounds to suspect that you did. This is absurd. Why on earth would I do such a thing? Once the article has been forfeited, I could simply walk into the shop and purchase it. There would be absolutely no need for me to resort to theft. That's a good point. Indeed, the witness makes a solid argument.
So that means that for some reason, this Craven fellow needed the small box that very night, does it?
Objection!
Oh? It's time to put an end to this nonsense, my lord. What? Could you be a little less cryptic, Lord Van Zieks? I do hate to ruin my learned friend's argument, but the truth is quite incontrovertible. On the night in question, no small box was taken from Windibank's pawnbrokery. And rest assured, the prosecution can prove it. What if they just didn't find it? What? Good gracious! Inspector, show the photographic prints to the court, if you please. Yes, sir. What prints? These prints were taken from one of the detective's security cameras.
Ah, how are these red-handed recorders again?
As previously explained, using this plan of the shop's layout. Oh, are we finally going to get the second view? The victim's establishment was furnished with automatic cameras in 2 locations. One was set to capture the counter where Mr. Windibank received his customers, and the other was sent to capture the shelves on which articles were placed for sale once forfeited. I feel like they should have just placed a third one in the storage room, you know? Inside the vault. According to the information on this ticket, McGilded's small box had been forfeited already. 2 days before the incident at 9 p.m. on 13th of April, to be precise, which means it would have been on the shelves of the forfeited items at the shop front. Now, what I have here is a print taken by one of the cameras about 2 hours before the incident. It's 11 p.m. on 15th April. Okay. World's hardest game to spot the difference. The victim certainly had a very full shop, it would appear. And here we have another print. This one was taken about 2 hours after the incident. Uh-huh. I see, so we have 2 pictures to compare. How are we going to do this? Though I must say that placing them side by side leaves me cold. All right, let's go systematically. All right, let's look at each row. Top row is fine. Middle row looks okay. Bottom row. Oh. Dear me, that's starting to make my head ache. Obviously, at Scotland Yard, we considered theft as one possible motive in this case. We explored the possibility that something had been taken in addition to the victim's life. So you men have already compared these 2 prints thoroughly, Inspector. Yes, sir. Okay, can look at it again. And they do look identical to me. Uh-oh. Counted every single item on each of these 2 photographic prints. The odds conclusion is that exactly the same number are present in both. What if it's inside something else? Or behind something? In other words, nothing was taken from the pawnbrokery on the night in question. My learned friend's assertion is nothing more than a hopeful fantasy. Ah! Uh-oh. I don't believe it. If I could have just shown that he'd stolen McGilded's pawn box. Well, look at him go. I might have been able to break him down at last. Oh, crack that egg of yours.
You know what, Bruno? I've been thinking. One of these two photographs really are exactly the same.
What? I mean, what if we used, like, our, what's it called? Stereo something? Oops. Stereoscope. So, counsel, in light of the evidence put forward by the prosecution, what is your position? It seems that on the night in question, nothing was stolen from the victim's establishment. You accept the prosecution's assertion? I don't know. Could there be some hidden discrepancy in these two photographic prints somewhere? Well, two pictures that are nearly identical? Before I give my answer, my lord, I'd like to try something if I may. Try something? What do you mean, counsel? I need to use a certain piece of evidence from the court record to identify the discrepancy. Does he know? Does Van Zieks know? I was wondering when we'd be able to use this.
Take that!
I'd like to use this device, my lord, to view the two prints stereoscopically.
Ooh. Yes, you've caught the bug at last. You can't resist it, can you? You've got the cross-eyed compulsion.
Juror number 3, what a surprise.
Come on, Bruno. Let's put the pictures in place and see what this wonderful contraption shows us.
Alright. Enhance. What do they do? Oh. Does that show that that thing was moved? I wasn't sure at first, but there's a clear discrepancy between these two prints. What? That would go hard on the 3DS. I'm sure. Must identify the location in question for the court counsel. Honestly, I'm impressed that this game was able to figure out a way to somehow actually use the 3D function of the 3DS. In like a somewhat clever way, you know? Indicate the precise location of the discrepancy of which you speak. I wonder what it could be. The glowing highlighted little area? I'm sure in the 3DS everything else isn't like as super blurry, right? Like you just have to... Actually, no, they'd have to make the game playable in 2D also. Maybe it is like blurry. Maybe it's just not as obvious. Anyway.
Take that!
Granted, these two prints are almost identical. However, there is one minor discrepancy between them. Oops. What? When you view the two pictures stereoscopically. A single area stands out as being different. Location of this small box. we like handed it to him? That's funny. Let me wait. Unbelievable. By Jove, you're right. How extraordinary. Oh, we couldn't be asked to give him the stereoscope. What this tells us is very simple. Mr. McGilded's small box was indeed not stolen from Windibank on the night in question. However, there can be no doubt that somebody picked up this particular box and then returned it to its place on the shelves. Are you suggesting that the small box of bruises deposited by Mr. McGillicuddy is in fact... Yes, the very same small box I just identified in those photographic prints.
Objection!
Mindless guesswork. What if it was? So a box was moved on the shelf, nothing was stolen. Which means, quite simply, that nothing has changed. That may be true, but the box wasn't stolen and its contents were, obviously. It changes everything. I believe this changes everything about the case. How can that be? How can that possibly be? The crucial point is the fact that what was moved was a small box. In other words, we have to consider what might have been inside that box. What are you suggesting? I'm suggesting that we need to examine that box as soon as possible. A vital piece of evidence is sitting on the shelves at Windibanks as we speak.
Objection!
That won't be necessary. Some little box belonging to a man who died 2 months ago can't possibly be relevant to this trial. What if the box is a music box? No, that thing seems a little too small to be like a music box disc player thing. This court does not uphold your objection, Lord Van Zieks. Bailiff, arrange for an officer to go to Baker Street at once. Obtain the small box in question and bring it back here for further examination. What are the goons still doing here? Can we, like, kick them out? They're useless at this point. Oh, he's giving me the death stare. Or are those fuck me eyes? Why not both? Alright. I think perhaps we should recess for a short while until the evidence is brought forth. Recess time. To be hoodwinked by such a farce. Disappointing. I beg your pardon, Lord Van Zieks. This is nothing but a smokescreen. A Nipponese specialty, it would seem. Yes, my ninja technique. My Nipponese ninja technique smoke bomb. Lawyer smoke bomb. What are you trying to say? My learned friend has persisted with the same line of reasoning from the very beginning. That this witness's intent was to steal an article belonging to Mr. McGillicuddy from the pawnbroker. Oh, excuse me. Your common sense tells us that none of the articles have value enough to be worth stealing in the first place. Exactly. It would be beyond absurd to break into a place with the purpose of stealing such commonplace property. Maybe you didn't want to steal it, but maybe you wanted to use it. I wonder how many bottles of wine this guy brings with him to court every time he has to do a trial. If your lordship calls, Mr. McGillicuddy perished 2 months ago, immediately after the conclusion of his trial. A trial in which he was found not guilty. A trial in which it was established he was the upstanding member of society his reputation implied, in fact. So I propose a toast to my learned friend. His most insightful defense. The articles this upstanding member of society pawned were entirely ordinary. A black overcoat that I just happened to have a music box disc in one of its pockets, a small box. I assure you, I wouldn't accept even if the man tried to make a gift of such things to me. It's not gold or jewels. What do you have to say? Oh, can't hear a Russian man. Prosecution's argument is undeniably compelling. It is incumbent on the defense now to bolster its argument. Oh, there we go. I'm surprised that lamp is still standing. To explain what possible significance these commonplace articles pawned by this fine citizen could have. Well, counsel, Is your argument in fact demonstrable? Are you able to show proof that the disc or the box are in any tangible way related to this case? Well, cooked.
What's the matter, Reno? We know that they're related, don't we? They're both vital pieces of evidence.
Yes, of course. You and I both know that. We know McGilda's true character, and we know the disc is significant, even if we don't know why. But if we explain all that to the court at this point, we'll have to acknowledge that McGilda's acquittal 2 months ago was a mistake. The defense's argument was flawed, based on false information.
Oh no!
Look, you gotta do what you gotta do. That would mean admitting that Gina committed perjury.
Ginny!
Could it be that Van Zieks knows? I think it's better for Gina to be guilty of perjury than guilty of murder, you know? Why is he doing this now? Because he anticipated everything?
But maybe...
You know, maybe Van Zieks didn't anticipate everything. Maybe he's just really good at talking out of his ass and bullshitting. Like a true Phoenix Wright. Maybe he's the real Phoenix Wright ancestor. Sorry, what do you mean, Iris?
Well, what is it that you always say, Reno? Sooner or later, the truth comes out. Every time.
Alright, the exact significance of the things that McGilda deposited with Mr. Windibank. Something that only Gina can explain to the court. But if I put her on the stand to testify about that, it could critically damage our chances of winning this case. And we have to. It's a risk we take. What's the right thing to do here? Have her testify. My lord, the defense would like to make a proposal. Oh, what proposal, counsel? While the court awaits the arrival of Mr. McGilda's small box, I would like to call the defendant, Miss Gina Lestrade, to the witness stand. The defendant? To what end? It's to do with the various articles deposited at Windibanks by McGilda, my lord. Miss Lestrade has information relating to them. I believe it would be beneficial for the court to hear what she has to say. It will prove the significance of the articles in question once and for all. Well, well, things are becoming interesting. I presume you've considered the implications of the testimony you're proposing. In particular, the impact it will have on the accused's standing, and indeed your own. Oh, he knows. Is he the one who killed McGilda? There's no way, right? Like, huh? Who else could it have been, though? It was inside the courtroom, right after the trial. Lord Van Zieks, would you care to explain that last remark? Prosecution accepts the defense's proposal and move to interrupt the cross-examination of the current witness and hear from the accused herself. Very well, if you have no objection. So, the court will now hear the testimony of the defendant, Miss Gina Lestrade. You witnesses currently in the stand may step down until further notice. Goodbye, goons. I'll be back for you, though. Then I shall bid you good day. Wait. You, sir, shall remain in the stand while Miss Lestrade testifies. As you wish. All right then, Gina, it's time. I know this will be hard, but please, put your faith in me here.
Good luck, Reno.
Sorry, Gina. It has to be done. Articles that Mr. McGilda had deposited in Windibank's pawnbrokery are intimately related to the omnibus case, the trial of which was heard in this courtroom 2 months ago. Yes, and I remember this young lady being brought before me in that trial as well. That's right, my lord. Testimony helped to establish the innocence of the defendant, Mr. McGilda. The omnibus case was intriguing, to say the least. And now here we all are again, the same players in that trial, facing each other once more. A twist of fate, perhaps, my Nipponese friend. Allow me to recap the events of 2 months ago. An old brickmaker was stabbed to death in an omnibus running along London's winter streets. Got a stabbing license, mate? Apart from the victim, there was only one other person in the carriage, Mr. McGilded. Naturally, he was the prime suspect for the murder, but as the trial progressed, another possibility emerged. That the murder in fact took place above the defendant's head on the roof deck. The body then being dropped through the skylight into the carriage below. It was Miss Lestrade whose testimony brought that possibility to light. At the time of the incident, Miss Lestrade was concealed under a seat in the carriage, hoping to pick the pockets of unsuspecting passengers. Then, immediately after the trial, having been acquitted of the murder, Mr. McGilded died in this very courtroom in the most extraordinary of circumstances. A mystery that remains unsolved even now, 2 months on. As indeed does the omnibus murder itself. Be that as it may, I recall the other disc nor the small box being mentioned in the court and those proceedings. Miss Lestrade, would you tell the court now, please, what really happened in the omnibus 2 months ago? I mean,
I don't know what you mean. I already said all what I know.
and what about everything you told us yesterday from inside your prison cell? Please, Miss Lestrade, this is extremely important.
But...
Remember, little girl, if it transpires that you willfully withheld information in the trial 2 months ago, the Home Office will seek to prosecute you for perjury. And naturally, you will lose all credibility as a witness. Although, let's face facts, you have little credibility to lose. So might as well do it then.
Ginny, don't listen to him.
Please, you have to trust Bruno.
Please, you have to trust Bruno now.
Iris?
We're on your side.
Alright then. We'll talk. It's the right choice, Gina. Well, it would seem that my learned friend is hell-bent on bringing the entire courtroom down about his ears. So be it. I must confess I'm struggling to understand what on earth is happening here. However, it would appear that Mr. McGilded's pawned articles in that extraordinary case of the omnibus are the secrets of which we have been hitherto unaware. So, Mr. Lestrade, you will now give your testimony before the court about the events of 2 months ago. You will reveal the truth, a commodity sorely lacking in your original statements. This is it then. Everything's going to come out, like Van Zeke said. This could bring the whole courtroom down about my ears, but as a lawyer, I'm prepared to take that risk. Alright.
The truth is, that Brickmaker Cove was in the cabin of the omnibus the whole time. When the Irishman dragged me out of it from under the seat, I saw that disc on the floor. All of a sudden, I heard a scream from over my head, and a pair of the roof deck went off to call the slops. That's when McGilded slid the driver some tin to do a run to the pawn shop roundabout. He threatened me not to snitch, not to say nothing to no one about what I seen or heard.
I'm sorry if I bumped the mic.
Good grief, this is outrageous. What we just told the court bears almost no resemblance to your testimony 2 months ago.
As you say, my lord.
Then there's every chance. I may have adjudicated in the error of McGilded's trial. Sounds very much to me as if the man deliberately deceived his court. an attempt to cover up the most wicked of schemes. Without doubt, your lordship is correct. A great injustice was done in this courtroom 2 months ago. The actions of the accused in that trial, of this witness, and of my learned friend are entirely inexcusable.
I don't believe it. The whole trial was a farce. It was all lies. That McGilded fellow was rotten to the core, just like that pickpocket. Don't forget the lawyer from the east. They were all in it together. You're wrong, the lawyer. Mr. Naruto, the lawyer, he didn't know nothing about it.
Humbug.
I don't think so. Are we really expected to believe that? He really stitched everyone up, didn't he? What an operation to get the man off scot-free.
I mean, he's dead. He died right after. Van Zeke saw him and he was like, you know what? I'm just going to deal with it myself. I'm going to take this into my own hands. Yes, the defense made a terrible error of judgment. I intend to take full responsibility and suffer whatever consequences are deemed appropriate. However, it's imperative that the court allows the witness to elaborate on her testimony, because the true significance of McGilded's pawned articles must be brought to light. Very well, my learned student friend. Given the depths of calamity you have just plunged yourself into, this may be well worth hearing. Words fail me. The situation is utterly deplorable. Mr. Naruhodo. Yes, my lord. I will decide upon your fate following the conclusion of this trial. Of course, my lord.
Blimey, Mr. Naruto.
Now, counsel, proceed with the cross-examination. I mean, it's not my fault, right? Like, we had no idea. So surely we can't be punished that bad. Why is he facing backwards? What's Edgar doing there, facing backwards?
Hold it!
And you were hiding in the cabin at the time as well, weren't you, Miss Lestrade? If I remember rightly, in the storage compartment underneath one of the seats.
Yeah, that's right. It's pitch black under there, so you can't see nothing at all.
Wait, who's the third person? Gregson? Wait, why are they talking? What the fuck? Hello? Can I just pursue you now?
Excuse me.
What are you talking about? Is there something you'd like to share with the court, Inspector Gregson and Mr. Graydon? Inspector Mr. Graydon?
Blimey, you trying to give me a heart attack?
You've been whispering to each other for quite some time now. Tell us, what is the discussion about?
Oh, discussion. With this fella? Pull the other one, sunshine.
Ooh, did I just, like, uncover something? Was that what I was supposed to do? Because in all other instances of, like, pursuing, you have to wait until the indication, right? The little exclamation point and reaction. But this one is new.
Think I've got anything to talk about with a shady gent like this?
I have nothing to say to this uncouth detective after he deprived me of that disc that was rightfully mine. They've clearly been talking the entire time I've been cross-examining Gina. Yeah, the entire time being the start. It's as if they've been negotiating.
You'll kindly refrain from talking amongst yourselves while the witness is giving testimony. Yes, sorry, my lord.
What were those two talking about? Interesting. Okay. Maybe by doing this, now they're like alert. Maybe I unlocked new reactions. Maybe that's how this was supposed to work. Anyway.
Hold it!
And you were hiding in the cabin, yes. Okay, this one I already did. That's right. It's pitch black under there, so you can't see nothing at all.
Now, in your testimony 2 months ago, was certain that you claimed Mr. McGill was the sole passenger, did you not?
False testimony, my lord. That's what he told me I had to say. It's important that you tell us the truth now. Were Mr. McGilded and the victim acquaintances? I don't know. But I did hear him talking a lot. What were they talking about? Well, I couldn't hear too well, but I had to say, I think it was about money or something. They kept talking about buying and not buying.
Perhaps business dealings of some kind.
Anyway, they got louder and louder. Sounded like a proper fight. I was pretty scared by then. I hardly dared to breathe, and then all of a sudden, I heard a noise like some keeling over on the floor. It was blooming loud and all.
I believe you let out an involuntary scream.
Yeah, that's what gave me away.
Hold it!
Was the disc you saw this disc? Yeah, I reckon it probably was. It was right next to the curve line on the floor.
This disc had belonged to the victim, perhaps.
I don't know, but McGill had picked it up pretty smartish. And he sat the cove with the knife in his belly up on his seat.
What did he say to you at that time?
He told me not to say a word about what I'd seen or heard to no one.
Oh.
You know what? Maybe the disc originally belonged to the brickmaker, the mason guy. And he planned to sell it to McGilded, which makes sense with the buying / not buying thing that Gina heard, right? And so if he planned to sell it to McGilded, it would make sense for the note to be on there, the for McGilded thing. So maybe Mason Man, what's his name? He's not in here. Here we go. Oh, his name is Mason. Mason Milverton. Yeah. It makes sense if Mason wrote down for McGilded on that disc because he planned to sell it to him on the day he was murdered. And because they fought, McGilded was probably like, I don't know, being a cheapskate or something, being stingy. He didn't want to pay up whatever Mason was proposing. He just stabbed him and took it from it. Yeah, seems like it fits, honestly. We also have something with Mason's blood in it, right? Yes, we have this. One gentleman's overcoat, £1. I was dead scared the way he was looking at me. I thought if I didn't go along with it, I'd get stuck with that knife too. And he started asking me a load of questions, like what my name was and where I lived and that. He asked me about being a diver too. After a while, what had happened in the carriage was noticed. Yeah, that's right. First there was a kind of rapping noise. Rapping.
Hold it!
Those were two gentlemen occupying the seats on the roof deck, I believe. That's right. He must have looked down through the skylight and noticed the cove with the knife was in his guts. When they screamed, the driver pulled up the horses and McGilded got me out of sight.
Out of sight? Where?
Back under the seat where I started off. Once the carriage came to an halt, the two coves on the roof ran off to fetch the slops. If they immediately left to fetch the police, it would appear they were entirely unrelated to the incident. So that left McGilded, the driver, and you still at the scene. Yeah, only the driver didn't know I was there because I was under the seat. I heard the cabin door open and a voice from outside.
The driver, yes. Also testified in the trial, I believe. That guy, yeah. Fellow who went by the name of Beppo, if memory serves. Poor Beppo. He was the one who overcharged for his rides, didn't he? What did McGill and the driver say to each other? I don't know what happened and stuff like that, mainly. He threatened me not to snitch, not to say nothing to no one. But let me go back one. No, I wanted to go back one. If I click the arrow to go back, it doesn't actually read that as as like a button, you know? Like the arrow is just for show. Like all it does is tell me that I can go back with WASD. I can't actually click it. Let's use the time we have now to get as much information out of her as possible. Right. Okay, yep. Just use my WASD keys, honestly.
Hold it!
Did we do this one already? Yes, we did.
Hold it!
A pawn shop office is being Windibanks and Baker Street. Just a moment, Counsel. Do you mean to tell me the driver gave false testimony in that trial as well? Perhaps the excursion to the pawnbrokery slipped his mind when he was in the stand. Indeed, Lord Van Zeeks.
Gilda took off his coat and gave it to the driver. He folded it up and all careful-like before he handed it over. When I saw him do that, I remember thinking, that coat and what's in it, it's got to be worth a few bob.
Yes, Sheena was sure the disc must be worth more than Mr. Windibank was suggesting, wasn't she? I remember her quibbling with him over the price that afternoon at the pawnbrokery.
The driver looked pretty happy when McGill had flashed some brass in his face. He went running off at a lick.
Well, the bog trotter called to me and he told me to come out from the... Oh, then the bog trotter called to me and told me to come out from the Drax cabin. Threatened you not to snitch.
Hold it!
Threatened you? How exactly?
Told me I'd only be able to scarper if I did exactly what he said.
Which included giving false testimony in court 2 months ago.
Yeah, that's it. There was one other thing he said.
Which was...
He told me I'd have to hang on to the ticket from the pawn shop and make sure not to lose it.
Ticket? Well, I never.
Said that if he didn't show up to get the ticket off me before 2 months had passed, I'd have to go to the pawn shop and pay the money to keep it in the lug, to stop it from being forfeited. He left me with some brass to pay for it.
Really? Why on earth would Mr. McGilder have done such a thing? Depositing his overcoat with a pawnbroker before the arrival of the police. It makes no sense at all.
Because it's evidence, man. Evidence.
There would seem to be only one logical explanation, my lord. What McGill had the driver deposit at Windibanks was something that he didn't want the police to see. Something very important that he needed to hide at all costs.
Anyway, after that, he let me go, so I legged it before the coppers showed up.
Thank you, Miss Lestrade. Thank you, Counsel. I've heard enough. No reactions from the other two. I was certain that, like, I was onto something when I had those two guys, like, turn around, you know? Reasonable understanding of what actually transpired.
It would appear that on that night 2 months ago, a negotiation was taking place on the omnibus. Negotiation concerning this disc. However, matters did not run smoothly. When the parties involved began to quarrel over price, McGilder took what he wanted by force, at the expense of the other man's life. Which proves my point. The disc is clearly extremely valuable in some way. Though I don't understand why as yet. And 2 days ago, precisely 2 months after the omnibus incident,
McGilder's account and its contents were due to be forfeited.
I didn't know what I should do with the ticket. I mean, the cove died right after his trial, and I knew that.
So you decided you would try to claim the articles as your own.
Well, why not, eh? They were only going to be forfeited. Why shouldn't I have gotten them? Anyway, you can't blame me for thinking about it. Thinking it no crime.
Mr. Strada, it would appear that Mr. McGilder was prepared to kill in order to take possession of this disc. Do you know why that would be?
Eh? Oh, I ain't got a clue. But I reckon it must be worth a fair bit of brass. He was probably going to sell it. And you can't blame me for thinking that. Thinking it ain't no crime.
My lord. What? Oh, yeah. Timely. Very timely. What's the box? What's in the box? Wait, what? I didn't read that through. A mysterious little box deposited by McGill 2 months ago. Oh, it's been located. Ready for the inspection. Okay, that reaction was like way more dramatic than I thought it was gonna be. So I was like, wait, did I miss something? No, he literally just said, okay, it's here. It's here, guys. For some reason, like, all the shocked reactions were gonna be like, oh my god, is it missing? Did I miss that it went missing? Alright, well, time to inspect it. Maybe it is a music box. To be continued? Come on. How long is this trial gonna be? I want to play 100 line for you guys, but I want to finish this game first, you know? Unspeakable story. Maybe it is a music disc player. So this is the article in question, is it? A small box deposited by the pawnbroker by Mr. McGilder 2 months ago. Another night of Mr. Winterberg's murder. The only item on the shelves that was touched by whoever broke into the shop.
Quick, let's open it and see what's inside.
It is a player. Aha. I knew it. Good gracious, this is no ordinary box, it seems. Wow. Although, in truth, I had an inkling that might be the case. It would appear that the box houses a miniature music box movement. Oh. And it is too much to expect. I think it would be reasonable to assume that it is a device with the playback of this disc, my lord. What's on the disc? Is it the brown note? We play it and the entire courthouse shits themselves. Here we have the means to play back Mr. McGilder's disc deposited by Winterbanks at much the same time. Not strictly correct, my lord. It was not McGilder's disc. It was the disc of this victim in the omnibus. But why, for heaven's sake? Are we to understand that the brickmaker was trying to sell this music box disc to Mr. McGilder? I mean, that was my theory. I'm raising my hand. Like I'm in class. I believe the answer will become clear if we listen to the music on the disc, my lord. Yes, very well. But the court now listens to this curious disc at last.
Hold it!
What? Wait, my lord. Good grief, what is the meaning of this, Inspector? That's what his voice sounds like? The music box disc and well, they're unrelated to the case. No need to spoil the somber atmosphere in the courtroom with some silly old bit of music.
Objection!
This disc may very well have motivated the culprit in the case to commit murder. Clearly, there's every chance that it's fundamentally important to understanding what happened. Prosecution has no objection. But no, that piece of evidence is police property now. You can't... Clearly, Scotland Yard has some vested interest here. But it is policy of this prosecutor to leave no avenues unexplored. And you, Inspector, have no jurisdiction here to prevent that from happening. Yeah. No further delays, please. Play the disc. Oh no, Gregson, I hope you don't get fired or worse from this. You tried. It's Morse code. What on earth? Quick, we need to, like, ask that one juror. The other communications lady. That's certainly not what I would call music. No. It's just the same note playing over and over again in an irregular sequence. Mr. Graydon. This really is priceless. After all that, the music box is broken. Broken? Can't be, can it? No. This guy knows. He's a communications officer. He knows Morse code. He knows what the thing... He knows what the thing is saying, unless he's too stupid to figure that out. Maybe he thinks it really is music. Well, obviously. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if the officer sent to fetch it didn't drop it on the way back to the courtroom. Well, with much regret, I feel the court must accept that this music box offers little in the way of clues. Obviously, for a music disc to be that valuable, whatever is on the disc has to be, well, valuable. Not literally the artistic value of the music, but it has to be some kind of like password, right? The keys to the kingdom. It does sound as though it's completely broken, but is it? Could this music emanating from the music box possibly be a new clue? It could be a clue, obviously. We have multiple people here that can translate Morse code. Come on. How can it be? It's an abomination, Council. Mere noise. I fail to see how it could have any meaning whatsoever. Oh my god, everyone here is so dumb. That sounds strange, I agree, but there's one thing bothering me. While Graydon stands there chortling victoriously, the inspector beside him has a rather telling expression on his face. So, I'm concerned because Graydon clearly wanted this disc and the music box. And now we're here with both of them playing the music for him. So he knows what's on. He knows what's playing. He understands everything. We played into his hands, or like we gave him everything he wanted on a silver platter, basically. That's what's making him appear extremely on edge. That's the stance of the defense, my Nipponese friend. Answer me this. Just what relevance do you propose this woeful chiming has on this case? It's the defense's belief that the sound emanating from this music box is not supposed to be music. Just because this is a music box, it doesn't necessarily mean the sounds we're hearing are music. Look at that. The smile vanished from Graydon's lips as soon as I said it. I'm in the right lines here. I must be.
Making deductions based on how people react to what you say. You're acting just like Hurley, Runo.
Objection!
The sounds we're hearing aren't necessarily music. Well, now that you've told us what they are not. I'm sure the court would like to hear what they are. Do enlighten us, my Nipponese friend.
Well, surely you have an idea in mind, because if not, it will be the death of your ill-formed argument. Exactly. The music box is clearly broken. Refusing to accept that fact is pure foolishness. You've got me. I don't know what the answer is yet. What? It's been a while since I've seen this. It gets me every fucking time, man.
Bruno? I've just examined the music box very thoroughly. I'm fairly certain that it's not broken at all.
Really?
Really, the way it's been made, it can only produce a single note anyway.
Thank you, Iris. Alright, well, if the music box isn't broken, must mean the sounds it's producing have some significance that isn't musical. Ah, could it be? Is that what these sounds are?
Something's just struck me, Bruno. I feel like recently, in the past few hours even, I've heard another sound very much like the one this music box makes.
Yes, it's a familiar sound. Actually, Iris, I was just thinking exactly the same thing. I'm going to have to press the defense for an answer. If your assertion is that the sound produced by this music box is not in fact music at all, then what the devil is it, Counsel? All the evidence we've seen so far, all the testimony we've heard, it's all pointing to one single answer now. Come on, no more delays. Even a 9-year-old could figure this out. Prosecution demands that my learned Nibonese friend presents proof now. Honestly, this is the worst part of Ace Attorney, when like the mystery is so simple, like you figure it out right away, and you're just waiting to give your answer, or like waiting to jump through whatever hoops the game asks you to do, just to like say that it's Morse code or whatever. Come on. I'm sure Van Zeeks knows too, but he's just trying his hardest to get me to on the hot seat, you know? If I'm right, it's gonna join all the dots together. The evidence that explains the true nature of the sounds on this music box is... Oh, you have to present evidence? It's probably this, right? It's got like the communications thingy in the back. Present.
Take that!
Today's paper, Counsel. The headline is Pawnbroker Perishes in Pig Purse Plunder. Hardly supportive of your cause.
No, my lord. I was hoping you'd look a little further down the page.
Further down, Ministry Mole. Classified secrets may have been leaked overseas from Ministry of Justice. Yes, this is a very serious matter being investigated at the highest level, I understand.
I've heard that international transmissions along supposedly secure lines are somehow being intercepted and leaked to various other countries. Presumably, those transmissions are in the form of wired telegrams. Of course. Juror number 5, your input, please. Stop. Oh, Misa. Whatever is the matter? You told the court before that you worked at the same communication station as Mr. Graydon, do you not? Yes, that's correct. In the particular station where you work? It deals with government communications and newspaper reports. Oh, yes. We're not the run-of-the-mill communication station at all. Our work is extremely important. And tell me, is this not a very familiar sound? You don't mean to say, is it? That's right, madam. It bears more than a passing resemblance to the sound made by your telegraph machine as you tap it. I believe it's called Morse code. But I don't believe it. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but when it comes to leaking telegrams from government departments, There could be nobody more perfectly placed than a highly skilled communications officer. Are you suggesting that music box disc contains stolen government secrets and Morse code? Order, order! Please, everyone, order! But this is high treason, Council, deserving of capital punishment. Too much new vocabulary. What is treason, and what is capital punishment? Sorts of words I'd half expect you to know. Well, sovereign government's confidential information, hostile nations would surely pay almost any price. Yes, and on that night 2 months ago, that was the very negotiation that was taking place inside the omnibus. But in the end, Miss McGilded perished, and the all-important disc lay unclaimed in the pawnbrokery. My word! In which case, whoever stole that information in the first place must surely have been beside himself with worry. Because if the disc were to be discovered before it found its way out of the country, it would reveal an act of high treason punishable by death. So the culprit had no choice but to retrieve it. In order to do that, he would have to gain entry to the pawnbrokery illegally into the middle of the night. Because the article left behind by Mr. McGilded would incriminate him too much if it got into the wrong hands. Isn't that right, Mr. Grayton? Ooh, you're the leaker, huh? You think I've been stealing government secrets? Preposterous. Absolutely preposterous. So in response to the defense's accusation, you claim complete innocence, do you? Well, of course I do. I have to stand here in silence while that pretentious foreign lawyer has been prattling away.
Objection!
Then by all means, counter the charges, sir. The prosecution demands the witness testifies in response to the accusations brought by the defense. Delighted, I'm sure. The witness is reminded that the crime scene under scrutiny in this trial is the murder of the crime under scrutiny in this trial is the murder of the pawnbroker, Mr. Wunderbank. That being a most flagitious offense for which the law of this land sanctions a capital punishment, the heinous act of high treason is no less serious a crime. I urge you to bear that in mind as you testify, Mr. Grayton. So then, let us proceed. You may... Huh? The goons?
You can't have a rabbit and pork here, Governor. We've got things to say.
I beg your pardon? Who do you think you are?
Name's Nash Skulkin. Occupation is professional baddie. Name's Wingo Skulkin, but we ain't baddies enough to sell out our motherland. That's right. We're what they call the Three Skulkin Brothers.
Yep, the three of them. Bad timing, fellas. Very bad timing. You're all four of them here, huh? Perfect. These goons are the perfect people to spill some secrets that Grayton does not want to give up. A mere communications officer can possibly steal confidential government information. Besides, the sounds produced by that music box aren't even Morse code. It was some low-class brickmaker negotiating with McGilded anyway, was it not? I have no relation to the man.
Look, all we done is break into the Gotham the other night, like what he told us to do. If we'd known there was dodgy government secrets involved, we wouldn't have touched it.
So, they're admitting they work together. That's great. Mr. Skulkin.
Well, Mr. will do, Governor. What's up?
Do I take it that you now admit to the crime? That on the night in question, you did indeed gain entry to the premises illegally? And moreover, you did so as a party of three in collaboration with Mr. Grayton here.
We did, Gov. We did.
Go get him. Mario and Luigi, if they were baddies in Britain. British baddies, if you would.
I have no idea what these two ruffians are referring to.
You little rotter getting us all mixed up in this monkey business. You never said nothing about no government secrets. Was supposed to be a straight-up job. And what about the geezer who shot it was, eh? Poor bloke didn't have to die, did he?
Yeah. Nice to know who your friends are. Have these men say I deny the accusations? Indeed. Well, I certainly wasn't expecting this little music box to become so significant in the proceedings. However, as it has, I will admit it to the court record as evidence.
Well, what if the music box is something? There's a button here. Oh,
What is it, Bruno?
I've just noticed something about this music box. Looks like the bottom of it opens up as well.
Ah, you're right. Come on, then. What are you waiting for? Let's open it.
All right then, here goes. A second movement? What? So does that mean you can set another disc to play back on this side?
Yes, I think so. It looks like the two movements are linked together.
They're linked?
So we had two discs. They would both play back at the same time.
Oh. Oh. Where's the second disc then? Interesting.
Hold it!
Government communications are being intercepted. What could you possibly know? High-level officers by specialists, not you. Oh, you're just a regular guy. Must say something. Stop. Let me guess. Juror number 5.
We regular communication station officers aren't as lowly as you're being led to believe. A team of us are responsible for setting up and testing the telegraphs used by the ministry. Mr. Graydon is the team leader.
That's my girl. That's fascinating.
Mr. Graydon is a highly skilled operator. Stop. Currently in presence of idol. Stop.
Way to get your idol arrested and sent to death. So you had access to the equipment used for these confidential communications, Mr. Graydon.
Well, what of it?
The transmissions are always made behind closed doors, so they can't be heard. In Cypher, normal employees can possibly understand them.
Oh no, stop. Must say something. Stop.
Yes, talk more. Mr. Graydon regularly attends meetings with ministry technicians and the ministry communications team.
He assists them in ensuring that there are no errors in important international communications. He has received the top prize at Cipher Cracking Convention 5 years in a row now.
That's fascinating. Well, how the turntables.
Well, your idol will appreciate it if you keep your mouth shut.
She should really pick her idols more carefully.
I tell you, this lawyer's accusations are completely unfounded.
Hold it!
You're not? To anyone with a brain, that would be blatantly apparent. Oh, right. So Morse code, you have the holds and the short sounds, right? I guess with a music box, you can only make short sounds. You can't really hold notes. Of course. Surely it can't be that my learned friend is unfamiliar with Morse code. Oh, she looks genuinely shocked at my ignorance. Ha ha ha. Okay, here we go. Lesson. Here in court?
Morse code is a continuous series of two distinct tones.
Tones, you say?
Yes, a short dot and a long dash. By combining those in different ways, you construct letters.
I see.
For example, this is an A. And this is B. But when you listen to the sound produced by this music box, you only hear one tone, don't you?
Sounds so similar. The rhythm of it is the same in everything.
There's no discernible meaning to this apparently random sequence of sounds.
So your assertion is fundamentally flawed. This is not Morse code. No! Really, you shouldn't be so surprised. Okay, so at the very least, we know now that what we played for him, he already knew, because he's the one who leaked it, right? So it's not like we handed everything back to him on a silver platter. He already knew the information. And at the very least, what we played in court wasn't Morse code, so nobody else could interpret it, right? Perhaps you might consider studying your subject matter before casting aspersions in future. Ugh, stop. Nothing to say, but stop.
So frustrating, isn't it? Iris?
I mean, if the government secrets were somehow being leaked using the music box, so many other things would slot into place so nicely.
Could there still be something I haven't considered? It would really be impossible to use as a music box somehow to play back Morse code. Let's give it a try. Maybe if we just use the other side. We also have the copy of the disc that Sholmes has, right? So every possibility that this music box was instrumental in the leaking of government secrets. That's the belief of the defense, at least. Does it please you in some way, my Nepalese friend, to repeat the same line of argument ad infinitum? It's already been established that to be Morse code, 2 tones are required, dots and dashes. Yes, I'm well aware of that. Then what? Well, it would appear the defense has a hypothesis to put forward. Maybe the dashes are on the other side. You better present your idea at once, counsel. I only propose that this music box, which appears to produce only a single tone, could have been used to cipher secret messages into Morse code. Uh-huh. There we go.
Got it!
Please, Ant. Yes, this is it then. What? What? Huh? Something about that music box. Has to be. I clicked the button. Whatever. We'll just continue. I don't want to do that again.
Hold it!
Let's just see if we can get like a second disc or anything. Duly killed the brickmaker and stole the disc. Single man with almost nothing to his name. Lived in an artisan quarter some years ago. Doesn't make much sense though, does it? How did a humble brickmaker come to acquire secret government information? How indeed? There must have been somebody else involved behind the scenes in all this. Somebody who acquired the disc and gave it to Mr. Mason. Huh. Dear me. These guys are just chilling. You may have it in for me, sir, but I assure you I have far more class than that. An old brickmaker from an artisan quarter and this well-to-do communications officer. If only I could find some evidence to link the two of them together. Look at that smug smile. I'm gonna slap that out of you soon enough. Do we have any evidence? His name is Milverton. Domicile east end of London. Brickmaker. Do we have information on Graydon? Not really. Yeah, I swear I hover over this and then I present it and then they penalized me for it. Like what?
Hold it!
Mr. Graydon told you to do, you mean?
That's it, yeah. Who else, eh? Silly me thought he was popping over from that after all them years, but the brother had a dodgy job for us. Eh, Ash?
Let me stop you there, Mr. Skulkin. After all them years, you say? You mean to tell me that Mr. Graydon is an acquaintance of yours? Oh, he has a history of crime.
We're sociable kind of baddies, you know? Sure, let's say Graydon's an old China.
Oh,
Excuse me.
what do you have to say? Something wrong, Mr. Skulkin? The other one.
Eh?
No, the other one, Mr. Skulkin.
What? Oh, who, me?
His big cheeks are low-key kind of cute. Not gonna lie.
I always remember the old days, that's all. We also have a right old laugh together way back when.
Together with Mr. Graydon, you mean? He's the third Skulkin brother.
Yeah, with Ash. I mean, look at him now with his fancy whistle and flute. He wouldn't have any of it, but when he was younger, he was from the poor part of town, just like us.
Is that so?
But he was always a leery one. He had the brains, he had the savvy, always coming up with smart ideas like you would never have gone through our heads. God blimey, ain't that the truth? Remember Milverton's Skulkin Milk Run? That was a corker, eh?
Save it until after the trial. Your reminiscence has no place in this courtroom. Neither does your fruit.
Oi, the geezer asked us a question, didn't he? And we was answering. Yeah, we ain't done nothing wrong.
Nevertheless, the court is not prepared to accompany you on your trip down memory lane. Counsel, can we turn our attention back to the testimony, please? I don't know. Could that sentimental story be relevant somehow? Sure. I don't know why you would ever say no to adding stuff to the testimony. It's always correct. Say no more. Skulkin something something. The milk run.
Hold it!
He's still in milk? I'm sure I'm gonna regret asking, but what exactly was that? Some kind of business?
Just a little scheme we had going back when we were youngsters. A bit of fun, really. Delivering fresh milk to the locals. That's what it was all about.
Sounds alarmingly legitimate. There must be a catch. Yeah, all the scheming they had, it's called a job. The business model. Business name. The model. It's probably more important. How did your little business work exactly?
Well, every morning down our way, the milkman would come with his cart to deliver milk, see? If you stuck your empties outside your front door, we'd leave you...
I cannot talk.
He would leave you them full again, right? So we swooped in on the action, got people to sign up with us. Promised to deliver milk for half the price of the other geezers doing it. People couldn't wait to sign the dotted line. We were raking it in, we were.
So, did you live on a dairy farm or something?
Gordon Bennett, off your rocker? We had nothing. We were too poor to have a farm.
Right.
Yeah, what we had going on was simple once you have the idea. You just switch them over, see? Customers' empties with full ones from anyone who wasn't on our books. Total, right?
Oh, so you just stole the milk. I think you meant to say a diddle. And that's a crime. Uh-oh, they're diddlers.
It was just an harmless bit of fun, that's all.
Milking the general public in such a fashion is most certainly not harmless, as you put it.
Well, it was him who came up with the idea. Ash is the evil genius.
You mean Mr. Graydon?
Yeah. Ash always had his head in a book when we was growing up. Said he was going to get himself an education and get out of the slum we lived in. An education. Cool. We all ragged him about that, didn't we? Told him he was soft in the head to even think it. But look at him now. He's only gone to become a blinking communication officer, ain't he?
Communications officer, Mr. Skulkin. They share one brain cell. Sholmes and Wilson's milk run. No, Iris, don't even think about it. All of a sudden, we seem to be up our necks in a serious matter of national security. Negotiation, yep. Break-in. Some link between the two men. Okay. Well. Now we know that... Now we know that Graydon was once poor. Mason was also poor. Have I not pressed everything?
Hold it!
I don't think I pressed this one. Yes, this one's new. Didn't know nothing. 2 nights ago, you did indeed break into Winterbank's pawnbrokery. Aha. We were, Gov, we were. You're right there. His plan. Why was it Mr. Graydon's plan to break into the Winterbank Center? Did you not ask the reason? A load of cobblers. In case if they know the real reason, it doesn't sound like they're going to give it away. I don't know if we even have any evidence. Maybe if we press you and look for reactions from Graydon. Okay. Nothing there. They look the same. What about the business name? Milverton and Skulkin's Milk Run. Wait, Milverton? Milverton is the Mason. And where did the Milverton part come from? Right, I thought a clever clogs like you had worked that one out. That is... Enough of this. How much longer are we expected to listen to this drivel?
Objection!
Let me guess, you don't accept anything these two witnesses are saying. Tell me, why is it that it was only at the mention of the name Milverton that you decided to interject? Because when the happiest of homes that one came from? Yeah, his old man was struggling for money so much his wife walked out on him. She took the name Graydon then, see? Ash would always be Milverton to us. Milverton. Oh, he's the son.
It used to be your surname, did it? Of course not. It's no bun cum. Oh, what cum? Been a Graydon since I was born. Do you really think you can rely on the testimony of these two thieves, hmm? Your communications officer attached to the civil service. As such, your personal details will have been thoroughly checked at the time of your appointment. It would be a very simple matter indeed to subpoena those records, Mr. Graydon. Well, it would appear that Mr. Skulkin's testimony has been reliable. For once. You were born Ashley Milverton, then? Is that correct? Very well, yes. So Ashley Graydon was once Ashley Milverton. That information could change things. Yep. Childhood friend of the Skulkin brothers. This is very funny. Alright, well, time to figure out where to present this. Here we go. Where does the name Milverton show up? This, right? Yeah, Mason Milverton.
Objection!
Mr. Ashley Milverton. Tell me, why did you try to hide your former name from the court? Because I haven't gone by that name for years. It means nothing to me. No, I don't think that's the real explanation at all. The truth is, you had a reason to hide that name. Explain yourself, please, Consul. I have here the notes from the omnibus case, my lord. As we all know, the victim, the man who we now understand to have been negotiating with McGilded. Yes, Mr. Mason, the brickmaker. That's right. Only Mason wasn't his surname at all. It was his given name. His full name was Mason Milverton. Milverton? Do you mean to say, Saints alive? Uh-huh. So, Ashley Milverton. Is it not the case that the brickmaker, Mr. Mason Milverton, was your father? I don't. I believe I mentioned earlier. Your family history will have been thoroughly checked when you joined the civil service, and it really would take no time at all for the court to subpoena those records. The truth is, you have been illegally acquiring highly confidential government information and selling it onto Mr. McGilded in collaboration with your father. Ooh. This is slander. I carved a new life for myself as a respectable communications officer, as a gentleman. I have no idea what my father has been up to, but it has nothing to do with me. And may I remind the court that the assertion that this disc contains some sort of message in Morse code has been reliably disproven. A professional independent communications officer, no less. The relationship between the victim of the omnibus case and this witness is undoubtedly significant. However, the defense's argument remains somewhat incomplete, I feel. No.
I believe the cross-examination should continue.
Alright, so Morse code uses two tones. I could just demonstrate the possibility that this could have been used to generate two distinct tones. Yes, I inspected it already. Maybe I have to redo the presentation. Okay, I will present the music box. No.
Objection!
No, that doesn't work. Ow. Okay, what if we press you now? Alright, hurry up. Give it a try.
Objection!
Come on. Okay. Cursor over the button. Present. Are you serious? What am I supposed to do here? Try again. I mean, that has to be it, right?
Hold it!
Ugh. The sequence is so long before you get to the screen.
Objection!
Alright, we won't do the same thing again, you know. Definition of insanity and all that. Here we go. Okay, I think this is what I was supposed to do. That's so stupid, man. Why can't I just present the damn button? Yeah, open it. I already knew. Another movement. Yes. We've been knowing this. We only have one disc, though.
Got it!
What am I looking at here? Another movement on the underside of the music box.
What? It appears, my lord, that the two movements are linked together. In other words, you can put two discs in that music box, and the sounds of both will play back at the same time.
Good heavens.
As Court has heard, Morse code comprises of two tones, a short dot and a long dash. With the second disc in place, this music box can be used to generate Morse code and convey a message. Oh, there we go. You did a whole 360. The new facts and evidence unveiled by the cross-examination of this witness all come together to reveal the truth. The truth, you say? That you collaborated with your father, Mr. Mason Milverton, in illegal dealings with Magnus McGilded. By dint of this music box, you mean, Consul? Yes, stealing information being sent in secret government communications, and selling it on to McGilded. Mr. Graydon concocted this elaborate scheme of using 2 music box discs to encode the information. That's presumably a safety measure against information falling into the wrong hands. And a very effective one. I shouldn't have given the scheme any credence whatsoever. But the deal with McGilded went sour, and the brickmaker met his end. Yes, before he was arrested, McGilded managed to temporarily dispose of the stolen disc at the pawnbroker. Then, having learned of the situation, you appeared at Windibanks 2 days ago, in an attempt to recover the 2 articles McGilded had placed in pawn there. Dude, I got him so bad. That attempt failed. One of the discs was seized by the police, and the other you never found. That same night, you enlisted the help of the Skulkin brothers and broke into the pawnbrokery. This time, determined to recover the second disc. Are you suggesting that the second disc was inside the music box?
Eh? You never knew nothing about that.
On the night that Mr. Windibank was killed. Ah. I see. Maybe the second disc is just destroyed at this point, because, I mean, if I was Ashley, that's what I would do. So the question that naturally begs answering is this: why was only that one article distributed? The answer is obvious, because it contained the second disc. Oh, not distributed, disturbed. I can read. Which the intruder was desperate to retrieve. Since if it were to fall in the hands of the police, it would be proof of high treason. Well, Mr. Graydon, do you deny that all of this actually began on that fateful night 2 months ago? I refuse to accept any of this nonsense. Still fighting, huh? Sir. There appears to be blood seeping through the sleeve of your jacket. What? Ah! Uh-oh. 2 nights ago, we know that 3 shots were fired at the scene of the crime in Windibank's pawnbrokery. Why don't we test your blood, see if it's green? Right here, right now. One took the life of the pawnbroker himself. One struck the pouch around Mr. Sholm's waist. And the final bullet struck the calendar on the wall of the shop, having first pierced the arm of one of the intruders. Mr. Graydon, that wound on your arm that you seem to be trying to hide, it's a bullet wound, isn't it?
You got us now, me old China. Time to call it quits and croak, I reckon.
Don't acknowledge my presence there under any circumstances whatsoever. Those were my terms, remember? And I paid you handsomely to comply. Clearly I was a fool to think I could trust some common back slum thieves. Ugh. That does not roll off the tongue easily. Fine, I admit it. I was there in Windibanks that night. I paid this pair 10 guineas to accompany me, and as you've noticed, I've sustained an injury in the course of my adventures. But that is all. I admit to nothing more. Stealing government secrets? Negotiating with Mr. McGilded? Still posing. As God is my witness, I'm sure I recall nothing of the sort. He's not going to go down without a fight. Not until I can show hard evidence, I suppose. Nevertheless, the defense has now established a crucial fact, which is... Well, we know that 1 bullet was fired from each of the 2 firearms. We have evidence. The bullet from the Skulkin brothers' gun hit the pouch around Mr. Sholm's waist. And the bullet from Mr. Windibank's gun Clearly must have been the one that caught Mr. Graydon on the arm.
Indeed it must. We can rule out the possibility that the man shot himself.
And that leads us to only one conclusion. Mr. Windibank was shot by a third gun, which can only have been fired by the third intruder.
Goodness.
That's right, Mr. Graydon.
Yeah.
The only person who could possibly have shot Mr. Windibank that night is you.
Hold it!
I'm pointing at Van Zeeks and not him.
You little upstart. You made a grave mistake when you summoned me here.
What? What's that supposed to mean?
Yes, as you rightly say, I was there at the pawnbroker's. I did my best to hide the fact, naturally. I had no intention of ruining the distinguished career I built for myself at the communications station. But did the thought never cross your mind? Did you never consider the possibility?
What? What do you mean?
What thought? What possibility? The possibility that if I was there at the scene, I may have witnessed the crucial moment. You see.
Oh, is he gonna blame it on the brothers?
This makes me a key witness in this case. And I have my hands firmly around the neck of your client.
What?
Are you suggesting? I saw it all. I saw the very moment the pickpocket girl pointed the gun at the poor defenseless pawnbroker and shot him. You what?
Order, order, order! Well, it would seem we are finally entering the last act of this theatrical trial.
Mr. Graydon.
Yes?
I trust you are fully aware of the implications here.
This is a last-ditch effort.
If it is shown that your claim is false, you will have incriminated yourself as the killer.
Oh, I understand fully. Yeah, because he is one. Then I must ask you to give your formal testimony once more. You will explain to the court precisely what you saw at the moment the defendant allegedly shot the victim.
Nothing would give me greater pleasure.
Alright. Considering it's a little late, I will call it here for tonight. We will finish the case and this game in the next one. For sure. Let's save here. Go all the way back up. It's a long ass trial. Alrighty. Well, thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed tonight's stream. It's good to be back. I will be back on Wednesday. Or not Wednesday, Sunday. Yes. So look forward to it. Until next time, take care of yourselves. Have a great rest of your night. Stay safe and be well.